Hi guys, I thought I'd make a quick vid today to share with you what I've learned about world generation in 1.7 Eden and how to manipulate RNG to sort of get what cards and artifacts you want from it. So, in 1.7 Eden there's two types of RNG. What I like to call Battle RNG and World RNG. Battle RNG decides stuff like the order of decades when it's shuffled, boss attacks, percent chances of hitting twice, stuff like that. Whereas World RNG decides your cards, artifacts, what enemies spawn in what rooms, what bosses are in which worlds, what order they're in, that sort of thing. The two don't interact, so actions you take in battle have zero impact on what cards and artifacts you get, including battles being flawless, killing, saving hostages, none of that matters. You know, how many times you fast spells, how many times you shuffle, none of it affects it. World RNG generation is entirely dependent on what conditions you start with, what enemies are spawned, and what cards and artifacts are generated. Nothing else matters to it. So as a result, it becomes really easy to manipulate if you know how to manipulate the generation of enemies and cards and artifacts. So to keep things consistent, I'm always going to pick the same starting conditions for the moment, so you get to see how you can manipulate them to sort of map out a seed and figure out the different a consistent path in a world. So I'm always going to take Gunner, Manafar and Luck starting at 20 with a seed of 0 for now. For the starting conditions, what matters is your starting character, loadout, and Hell Pass, as well as seed. Only certain Hell Passes affect it, which would be the Luck starting at 20, more obstacles and hazards, and hostages are evil. There may be others, but these are the only ones with the large impact that I'm aware of. I'm going to just go look starts at 20 so we level up off the first room and get going for now. So the seed of 0, playing with the gunner, I'll always get this Arctic room with Violet as the boss and this Hailcaster is my only enemy, and it'll always give me 3 spells: Limit Break, Sklave and Poison Dart. If I skip rewards I'll level up. I'll always get the Heart of the Cards and Riffle. The far left isn't always consistent, maybe because of level up rewards being different, but it doesn't seem to affect anything else, so I'll always get these two though. Anyways, if I were to abandon this, do it again, Malafar, look 20, seed 0, start, I'll get the exact same thing, because it's consistent. It doesn't really matter how I play the battle here. Play it out differently, move different squares, fire different spells, it doesn't matter. I'll still get the same 3 spells and same 3 artifacts. So at this point you're probably thinking you can't change these, there's no way you can do anything about these artifacts, you'll always get them. But you'd be wrong there, because there are actually ways to manipulate these from the same seed and starting conditions. So to do this, click same seed, starting conditions, but I'm going to get different artifacts this time. The way I'm going to do this is I'm going to spawn in an extra enemy by using the preview screen on spells. Since the boulders that are used to demonstrate firing of skills actually count as enemy spawns. So here I've so far spawned 3 cards, moving me 3 along the sequence, plus 1 boulder there, moving me further along the RNG sequence. If I were to go over to Glaive, I've now spawned 2 boulders in rather than the 1. So if I now skip rewards, because I've spawned 1 extra enemy in, I now get different artifacts because I'm further along the sequence of random numbers. Similarly, I can get the exact same effect if instead of swapping over to Glaive to spawn that boulder, I stayed in Limit Break and waited for that boulder to be killed and respawn. There we go. So if I wait for Limit Break to kill this boulder, and it will respawn, I'll then get Hardened Shields and Honing Steel again. It doesn't matter if I take a card here as well, it only just matters what's spawned and generated, so card spawning and again that boulder spawning. I'll take Limit Break here, I'll still see Hardened Shields and Honing Steel. Note how I've got Mana Vein this time. It's like I said, the left one's not always consistent as a level up reward, it's always going to be Mana Gem, Mana Vein or Medkit I think. But it's normally Mana Gem here, it's somewhat consistent, but it only feels like 90% of the time it gives you the same thing. But the rest is 100% consistent, which is really useful. So That's one example of how you can use RNG. I'm now going to basically show you a mapped out one that I did for Hell Pass 14, but to avoid embarrassing myself, I'm going to do it on Hostages are Evil, which is one of the Hell Pass, the last Hell Pass that affects world generation. At least that I'm aware of. That might, but anyways. Start of the seed 6118936. There we go. Nice. So I'm going to aim to get a kunai build going here by manipulating the upgrades to get what I want. So I always have to fight this guy in my starting room, which is a bit annoying because it's a slow enemy that I've killed enough times at this point. Some other fact though, if poison kills it and your last hit has some executability, the executability will still trigger. Bit unrelated, but it's kind of neat. I've still got my 4 money here. There we go. So I'm going to get these 3 spells. I'm not going to do any manipulation next. The artifact I want is Knife Belt, or Kunai Belt I think, which comes on the next set of rewards anyway. Right, Knife Belt. So I'll go take that now. I'll open the shop. Now, Shopkeeper's Shop, like I said earlier, is decided at the start of the game, before even the first battle, you can't manipulate this, except by messing about the seed. So, I can't really manipulate the next room after getting this Knife Belt. I can't see any previews, right? But, again, there's a way around that, and that's upgrading. Again, upgrading is just like cards and artifacts, is completely decided at this point. I know there's going to be a double cast of the swipe if I upgrade it. But also, by upgrading the swipe, I get to generate 3 cards and the preview screen for boulders. So I can then start manipulating RNG again. Again, just 3 boulders here is enough. Works out perfectly for the next room. And this will get me a Kunai 1+1 collect ring on my next room, which is what I'm after at this point. So, for the next room, there's going to be a boulder here, a missile silo here, 2 money piles here on the enemy side, a Trinity laser here, and a cactus here. Now, where you stand influences the next room that spawns. If I obviously stood here, where the missile silo is going to spawn, it's not going to be able to spawn here on my side, and thus I'll get a different room as a result. Equally, if I stood here, I'll get the same room as if I stood here, because there's nothing spawning in either of them, but I'll get different cards at the end of the room. So the card I want comes when I stay at this tile. I prefer to always move from the same tile, because it seems like there's only like 2-3 sets of cards you can get from a room based on the tile you're in. So I'd rather use boulders to search through and map out a seed than something that's going to give me the same result from different squares a lot of the time. So we go here, got a Trinity laser. I already know how I'm going to kill it. There's basic spells on this Trinity laser. Step forward one. I used to do piercing. Kunai on that one, and Burst Knife for this. Done it enough times. I've already mapped out how to defeat this room. There we go. And now we're at Kunai +1 connect ring in the middle spell, as expected. Now I'm going to manipulate the next 2 rooms based by using these boulders again. Another noteworthy trick is that unintentional discovery, I don't know exactly how it works, but if a boulder is destroyed on a crack tile, the tile would then, in this preview, becomes broken, and that affects RNG somehow. Don't ask if I would go back and redo this from scratch. I obviously wouldn't use something so awkward to do it. I'd use a consistent method, but it just worked for me the first time, and that's why I kept doing it. It was an accidental discovery more than anything else. Now, hostage rooms, as I know I said earlier, evil hostages have a weird effect on world generation. So normal rooms of all types are entirely dependent about all enemies previously generated and cards and artifacts previously generated. Nothing else will affect them. But evil hostages is the exception. These rooms are not really part of the world. In other words, I'll always get the same card at the end, but I may get a different room here. I may get 1 turret and a hostage, 2 turrets and 2 hostages, or a hostage and a bomb. It's a third chance of any of them. But the cards at the end will be the same with all of them, as will the next room I'll face after that, and this is the world for the rest of the run. It's basically like they take you out the world to fight this special 1 and 3 room, and then you go back down to the world for the rewards. It's kind of weird. Of course I got the hard one. There we go. Try hit. So now I should get my double take, and in the next room, I'm going to be more than because I'm quite lucky here. My next room will have meat shield in, which is exactly what I'm after. So go here, I have cactus in this, and they will give me meat shield once I defeat them. There we go. This, little iron. Got all my spells I want at this point. And there's meat shield, which gives you some nice shield off my kunais. So, next room, I want to manipulate again. And I want this time more shielding, so maybe bismuth to be good. So, again, I can't manipulate anything after the meat shield without upgrading, so I'm going to upgrade my double take here to get extra kunais on it. I've got a few options of what I could do here, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Yeah, that's it. This should give me bismuth. Yep. I got a bit bored at this point, and this seemed good enough. There you go, bismuth. And then I could use this again just to manipulate the next room, just keep on going until I find the build I want. That's pretty much the result to it. The main tricks are just figuring out how to use these boulders and other things to manipulate stuff. You can also use the shop to manipulate stuff. For example, I could use them boulders to decide what happens after I refresh shop, because again that depends on where I am in the sequence of random numbers. I also use this to sort of decide when to take my packs, because I don't know whether the next room is going to be hard or not. Generally it's not worth it past the first room, because it gets, you know, exponentially longer, because you've got to map out all... So to map out the next room, you've got to repeat all the previous rooms every time to find out every new possible option you've got there. So generally it gets to the point where it's, you know, like bismuth is just good enough here. But anyways, that's it for me. Maybe someone will find this useful, and yeah, enjoy.